Hi, welcome to Community Life Nonprofit section. We're here today with
Rhonda Williams-Turner.
Rhonda Williams. So tell me a little bit about your organization.
Well, my organization is doing positive activities in communities. And right now I do college tours, marriage seminars, and other activities that's positive for all adults and youth.
Okay, so let's go back here. You say college. What do you do involved in the college?
Well, what I do, I've been doing it for like 16 years, where I take youth out of the state of Florida to different states to visit colleges and historical sites. So at those historical sites, they learn about our culture, things that they don't teach them in school anymore.
Okay.
So we do many different activities along with those college tours.
Okay, and they're learning about their culture, and then where have you actually taken them?
We've been to Chicago,
Okay.
we've been to Alabama, Mississippi, Texas, New York, Atlanta. We've been all over the different states.
And as you know, you can follow the link below to her website. Tell me a little bit about the other section that you just talked about.
The marriage seminars.
The marriage seminar. That seems to be the biggest issue out here.
Well, I've been married for going on 18 years.
We're proud of you.
I went to school for mental health and marriage and family. So my interest was to help married couples. So I have a married wife support group, and where we go out and we do different activities, we do different meetups to talk about what's, everyday life. Some things that they don't have anybody else to share with, because their friends might not be married. So that's one of the great things about it, and the women love to attend our meetings.
So is it just women, or would you like men to show up every now and then?
Well, what it is couples.
It's couples.
So, but the women, we started it out as far as for the women, and we're good. So we wind up getting our husband to be a part of this activities.
Okay.
So like we're getting ready to do in the month of December, couples for the men and women bowling. And so the wives will go against the husband in bowling. So that's just like a fun activity.
Okay, so then let me ask you this. You have apparently worked with couples. What are the strongest issues that you would claim that you ran across that your workshop has assisted them? Is it teamwork? Is it relationships? Or we go deep, is it because he's decided to step out or she stepped out? Where does your training of the counseling of helping them develop that? Or is it just strengthening the relationship?
It's strengthening the relationship. And one of the biggest issues that couples don't really understand is communicating.
Okay.
How to communicate.
And tell me a little bit about that. You've had 18 years of experience. Ooh. Is it just he has to agree with you?
No. He doesn't have to agree with me. It's a two-way street. So we have to learn how to talk to each other. It's not about you hearing me or he hearing me. It's about us hearing each other. And that's most of the time is the problem, because we already have in our mindsets what it's about, and that's what it's about, but not understanding what the other person feels.
Okay. All right. So you discussed this with them too, or you discussed it in the group?
We discuss it with each other.
Okay.
Like the group is not to come about and tell all your business. It's come out to let each other know how to handle certain situations. Right. But it's not going out to tell your business. We don't even want to know your business, but we're here to support you.
Okay.
Because you might need it at that moment.
Now, do you deal with cheating?
Do we know what cheating? Yes, because that's
So your process is the steps that y'all go through to get the relationship, or is that one of the first questions you ask, do you really want to be with the person?
Well, one of the questions is that what I've learned in school, you never tell people that they need to leave their significant others. That's not what we're about. But now, God is first in it. So we do want them to know what God says about marriage.
Okay.
Because a lot of people really know what God says about marriage, but do they implement it in their marriage?
Okay. All right. So what are the steps if someone had done some naughtiness? I'll use that term. And the other one has to heal from hurt. Do you feel, and I've asked this question before, do you feel that both parties, it's not just the person who got hurt, that should be the one who's trying to forgive and give over, the other person needs to do some things too. So what do you feel the other person who did the deed should be doing? Because a lot of times the woman or man is actually trying to heal, but they can't do it by themselves. Where the other person may take the attitude is, you should have been over by now.
Yes.
So the person who says that, what should they be?
Well, it's all in part of learning how to heal. And if you don't learn how to heal, you're going to carry that attitude like, well, that should be done with. I did it, I apologize for it, and that should be it. What you have to understand is, if you want your marriage to work, you have to work along with all those issues. Healing, forgiveness. You have to go back to dating. You know, that's important to understand. You know.
So what are the steps would you suggest? Is acceptance one step?
Acceptance could be one step.
Is forgiving oneself or allowing the other person to get away with it, is that a step or is that not a step?
That's not a step.
Okay. So there's no forgiveness.
Forgiveness is always
of yourself for allowing the person to take you through.
No.
No. Okay, good. That confirms it.
Right.
Confirms it, because that's the second time I've asked somebody that, just to see was that a step, and apparently that's not a step.
Right.
So you have to be acceptance and then be willing to work it out.
And you have to remember, there's no blame game.
There's no blame.
There's no blame game.
So if someone cheats on me, I can't blame them for this.
You can't blame that person for that. You would want to, but instead of you going out doing the naughtiness, is learning how to communicate with your other half. Instead of going out.
Okay, so let me get real for a second, because everyone knows how I am. Now, you're saying to me that we shouldn't blame. There's no blame. Now, if he comes back or she comes back and says, in my case it'd be a she, and says, well, you know what, I don't know why I did it, but we have issues. Is that a good response? Because it's not for me.
No, that's not a good response, because that should have been a response before you went and did that we have issues.
Okay.
You do that before you decide to go out, instead of doing it while you're in there before you even said something. If you never said anything, how would the person know?
Okay. So most of the time, the person who does it, now this is what I thought, that they need to become an open glass for forgiveness. That means if they're using their phone or a computer, there should be something done on that other person's lifestyle to change until trust is built back up.
Oh yeah.
That's what I'm saying. There has to be something. So what should be the steps on the other person?
Well, the first step is, in this relationship, we have to find out, do we really love each other? One thing that I do know, if I'm with me and my husband, if one ever falls out of love, as long as the other one in, there's a chance. But if we both fall out of love, there's not too much of a chance. Because what happens is, when that other one is still loving, there's time to mend those bridges. That doesn't happen always. But most of the time, if one is still in love and the other one is just going through, there's an opportunity that you got to work for it. You got to work at it. Because there's nothing that's going to be handed to you. Okay. So everything is a work in progress.
Now suppose it's just something that you can't get over.
Well,
I see you playing the songs behind us. I think it's great. Always a little comfortable.
My God,
won't you? So, what if they can't get over it?
Well, that's a decision that you can't make and I can't make. Only they can make that choice. Okay. But we're here to support them.
Okay. So, what would you say a time? Is there any time limit on a relationship when you have said, you know what? And I know your group is based, your foundation is based on bringing people together. Is there a time limit on where you feel the person just cannot forgive it? It's just something that they can't do. Then what? Should they still be good friends, or you try to still work on it?
Well,
because reality is reality. A lot of people can't heal. If you catch your mate in your house, in your bed, with another person, it's going to take a lot out of you. If they make it out of there in one piece, but it's still going to take a lot out of you.
Yes.
So now they've gotten past the hurt. Well, not past the hurt, but they're in the stages of hurt. And then is it acceptance first, when you accept what happened and then hurt? Or is it anger? How does all that work?
It starts with that communication piece. So you can get the understanding to accept what has happened.
Okay.
Which I say this should have been taking place before we decide to step out. Okay? So it is communicating first and then accepting and forgiving.
Okay. Now, as you can see, she has foreknowledge of that. Now, what we really also want to know now, you said before it happens.
Communication.
Communications is the key, I believe, to everything, and I guess you agree on that. So open communication. So if they have communicated, now let's say that you've been talking to your husband for 30-something years, or 20 years, or 10 years, and you've been telling him you need to communicate, you want to go spend more time, you want to go out, you want to do things. Now you meet somebody, and this happens, that is a person who's outdoor while your man or your girlfriend wants to sit at the house and look at TV, or they're a homebody. Now, you come in the house, they in one room, you're in another. Now 10 years have gone by, and you very rarely even know who you're in the house with. How do you actually fix that? Maybe cheating ain't the problem, but maybe, what are we going to do now?
It still goes back to communicating.
He doesn't want to. He's setting his own
When
way.
you don't communicate, stuff falls apart.
Okay, there's the answer.
Falls
apart. So let's get back on. We already declared that she has foreknowledge, so we needed to answer those questions. Now, let me ask you this. The program with the colleges, explain a little bit in detail what led your heart to do this.
Well, I went to college locally, and a lot of students a lot of kids, I've probably worked with over 2,000 kids individually in different programs, different activities. A lot of kids wasn't getting out of our community, seeing other things and experiencing other things. So years ago, I went with another organization, and they were taking, we went with them to see some colleges. And I was like, oh, wow, this is the ideal. And one of the things that I learned from it, the first year I took kids on a college tour, most of the kids was talking about, oh, I want to do hair, or I want to do this, or I want to do this. I just want to have my own shop. Never thought about colleges. But then when they went on the college tour, they saw the atmosphere, and they decided to say, wow, this is nice. I would love to go off to college. And that was one of the ideas, like, wow, we need to teach these kids a little bit more about what's really out there, and not to get out of their space and go and see something different.
Okay, so let me ask you this. If someone wanted to be a sponsor or a donator, how would they go about doing that, contacting you? Could you give them that information?
Yes, you can contact me at knowledgeispower.org, and you can go to our donation page on that website.
Okay. And for those who want to get involved as volunteers, is it the same thing?
Yes, it's the same thing.
Okay, and then those who kids may want to be involved, or is there a certain amount of kids per year that you have, or how does all that work?
Last year I had 76 kids,
76
so I had 2 buses.
Okay.
But we are trying to do statewide now. We're doing it out of different states. So with the Florida, it will be going in March, and then Georgia will be going in April, where we'll take them on college tours.
Okay. So the major companies, again, that's out there, along with the small businesses, she's asking you to donate whatever you can. And if you can commit sometimes to maybe a year on a certain amount throughout the month, that'll be ever so grateful. So I'm going to leave you with the camera for a few, and I want you to tell people what's on your mind, and exactly, I guess we would say, closing statement.
Okay. Greetings once again. I am Rhonda Williams-Turner with Knowledge is Power, and my goals is just to enhance our community, because many kids and many adults are out there and they don't know which way to turn, and we would like for them to reach higher, achieve more, and achieve their goals in life. So any information you need, you can contact me at my website, or you can call me at 561-929-3309. Thank you.